morning, good morning, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the first show of the week. Ugh. So y'all can see how many alarms I have. Welcome to the first show of the week. This is Breakfast with Dr. Kojo. We're coming to you live from what I hope will be a sunny day here in Los Angeles, California. And it's going to be a good day. It's going to be a great week. And I'm excited to have, three shows lined up for you all this week. And we're going to start with the breakfast show and talk a little bit about social media and if it's good for our mental health or not. I have my opinions and my thoughts. And I asked this question to everybody on Facebook, here on Facebook last night. So I have the opinions of a couple of people. Well, 213 comments, and we'll just kind of go through a couple of them. But before we start, I want to use the comment section so that we can introduce ourselves and we can say where we're from, and then we'll get into it. So drop your location in the comments, and then we will start this amazing week. So we have Christina Snyder checking in from Colorado. Good morning, Christina. Christina is the first person to chime in this morning. So we're going to give Christina the first official love of the show. Morning, Christina. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you. We have Adara checking in from Manchester. Adara, I really appreciate you. Thank you for your attention and just thank you for your support. Everybody, thank you for the support throughout the years. And it's a privilege to be able to do this. So this is what I live for, making content and coming on the live stream. Jody Evans, good morning. Good morning. Adara's checking in from Tennessee, Manchester, Tennessee. Okay. Nate King checking in from Arizona. We have Sam checking in from Maryland's Eastern Shore. Maryland again. Siobhan, I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Nicole says TikTok is so depressing and negative and tons of bullying. We'll talk about that in just a second, but thank you for bringing your opinion on that. I really appreciate that. Kyra from England, Elizabeth from San Diego, Ohio in the house, Pennsylvania in the house. Dara, I appreciate you. Alexandria, Virginia, and you were notified that I was live. So I love the show to you just because you let me know that. I really appreciate that. We're trying to figure out if people are getting notifications or not. And if you did something special to get the notifications, if you could let me know, I'd appreciate that. But in the meantime, I love the show to you, Callie. Jenny from Baltimore, Maryland, good morning. Mayfield, Kentucky in the house. And Jacqueline from Missouri. I'm good. How are you doing? Suffer greatly with mental health. Adara, I appreciate that. I appreciate that. And Leilani got her notification in Tennessee. Okay, awesome. I get notifications and I look you up. Tap the Blaylock, I appreciate you. Ohio, I appreciate you. And I did speak to the good people at Facebook. We were trying to fix that issue so people could get the notifications on time. So thank you for being patient with me so that we can, we can work on these small things here, here and there. Just got notified this early here, getting ready for work. So excuse. Oh, Nate, it's all good. All good, brother. I just appreciate you being here. Corpus Christi in the house. Alabama in the house. The dance. 1, 2. 1, 2. Then you can't see the foot action right now, but I'll be doing a little gritty with my feet. Good morning. About to make a phone call to behavioral health. I'm nervous. I want to say, Tina, just let them know what's in your heart. Your heart's this way. Just let them know what's in your heart. Reaching out for help is a sign of strength. Check the bell. Gotcha. And my family was good. Thank you so much for asking, Leilani. Doing great, and I got the notification. Jody, we do need a foot camp for the dance, and I know there's a way to do that. Hey, I'm from Texas too. I travel up that way once a month. Okay, Texas in the house, Florida in the house. All right, and Kissimmee, Florida as well. All right, and Sarah, great question right here. Depression and substances. I'll take a picture. And if the moderators can put this in the Discord, we may even have a conversation about this week. I think this is a very relevant topic, right? So we're talking about social media. Is it good or bad for our mental health, right? So I want you all in the comment section to let me know if you think it's good or bad, right? Is it good or is it bad? And as you all do that, I'm just going to read a couple of comments that I've received here on Facebook, right? So I'm reading this off of my phone. And of course, the yellow elephants in my phone right here. I got it from a company called the Yellow Elephant, right? And they help to prevent, they help to promote awareness for suicide prevention. So whenever you see these yellow elephants anywhere, I'm not sure if anybody else has them, but I have them on my phone screen so that we can get the conversation going as it relates to suicide prevention. So that's why I see these 3 elephants on my phone. And I'm going to keep them on here for as long as possible until I get a new phone. Then hopefully I'll get some new stickers from the company. And I'm looking here on Facebook about some of the comments with social media. So I asked parents what are some of their fears when it comes to social media and their kids. Someone says addiction. I struggle with it myself. Uh, my daughter's 11. I'm afraid of pedophiles and people destroying her self-esteem and self-worth. Fair. That's fair enough. Predators, addiction, instantaneous gratification, bullying, emotional regulation issues, exposure to inappropriate content. So many issues. So I got that from Kat on Facebook. Let me read that one more time because I think that's quite telling. So as a parent, she's afraid of predators, addiction, instantaneous gratification, bullying, emotional regulation issues, exposure to inappropriate content, so many issues. All those are legitimate concerns. And Kat, thank you for thank you for your candor and thank you for chiming in. And let me read some of the comments that we have here. Right? Is perspective. I use it. I like your videos to give me joy every day. I feel social media is neutral. So Tabitha, I'll talk about this in a second because without social media, I'm not here. Without social media, we're not doing this type of thing right now. So I'm biased a little bit, but I really do want to hear from everybody. Adar says social media sometimes helps me, but it can also really affect my self-esteem in a negative way as my trauma can cause long suffering. I completely agree with that. Especially for all of us have trauma, right? But for those of us who, we struggle with PTSD or you struggle with trauma to the point where it really affects you on a day-to-day basis, it's important to be mindful of what we're exposed to, right? Things can be triggering on the internet. And Say says, hey, it's definitely bad. It creates a sense of false identity. Okay. And Elizabeth says, can't tell you how much you help bipolar 1 recovery alcoholic. Could you address the complications? Elizabeth, I can a little bit later this week. If you have a specific question, you can drop it here and I'll answer it real quick. But this is another example of social media. I've talked about bipolar disorder before on social media. I've talked about substance use, so it can be a helpful thing, right? But we'll keep going. Adara says it's a double-edged sword. I completely agree with you. My 13-year-old is very wise and wants nothing to do with it. Okay. I know as a parent, that probably makes you feel at ease seeing your kid, just go outside and play or, hop into video games or call their friends, instead of like being glued to that phone, right? Sam says, I think it depends on your level of self-control and predisposition to addictive behaviors. Ooh, I think it can be good and useful, but as a whole, I think it's not great for anyone really. Okay. I understand. Respect. Social media, I've limited myself to 1 hour total per day. I just break it up throughout the day. I have to. My daughter has been out on the same restriction. So Pilar, I really, really, really like this comment. I think this is fantastic. Limiting the amount of time you spend on social media is so important because I think it's a tool. And like Adara said, it's a double-edged sword. So we have to be careful how we use it. But I like this comment a lot. I had to shift my parenting. We have life talks every single day. It's important we educate our kids how to use it and be safe. Yep. It's a tool that's not going anywhere, right? This tool is not going anywhere. So it's important that we know how to navigate the social media world. Make it 50. So y'all can see that I clearly have 11 alarms on every morning. Oh boy. Yeah. That way I never oversleep the gym. Yeah. Having 11 alarms is one way to do it, right? Don says, I say it works both ways. Some things trigger my brain and I just get so upset I have to take a break from it. Like all this political mess I don't care about. Don, I'm right there with you. I don't like politics. Just me personally. So I if there's a way to block politics from my social media, more than likely I would do that. But we should stay informed, right? To some degree. Hey, this is something I want to do is limited. I had to get rid of Snapchat and other apps. Respect. And 4 months clean for Dara. I didn't see that comment, but let's go ahead and give her a love of the show right there. I have tons of yeah, that's just what I do. I love the alarms. I feel grounded during these live casts. That's a good thing. If you're grounded, you're present. And I would, hope that you're less anxious. Let me see. Let me go back to the comments up top. Social media is very resourceful. However, with some false info, it may pose as a threat to those who believe whatever they see. Yeah, that's another thing that we have to navigate. Who is putting the information out there, right? Now, anybody can make, for example, let's take what I do, right? Anybody can make skits and songs and dances and talk about ADHD and autism and bipolar disorder, and like anybody with a phone, right, can start doing what I do on the internet. But how can you be so sure that that person is a qualified health professional, right? If you have the right song, the right trend, and the right, if you make a video in a certain way, it can go viral. I know this because this is what I do, right? So you could be a self-help guru with no medical background, and you could be teaching people about ADHD online or ways to improve your life with ADHD and or bipolar disorder or whatever. And if the video goes viral, people may actually believe you and think that, oh, this information is helpful, and maybe it is, right? But I think people do deserve to know who they're getting the content from, right? So yeah, anybody can can make the content. So yeah, you have to be mindful of who you take the information from. Christina said, it's really what you make of it. It can be bad. It has been bad for me in the past. Sorry to hear that. I now only follow people, organizations that share edifying content. Respect. I like that approach, Christina. I also limit my time spent on it. For example, I'll set a timer for 15 minutes or just make sure I watch the time. I stay on social media because I make content as I go on my adventures. So this is probably one of the best comments I've read all day. I really, really like this comment. So I'll give Christina a love of the show here. I love this. I love this. Sarah says, I go out in my flower garden and vegetable garden. Sometimes I do crafts to stay off social media. I go back to the time where there was no social media, I'm assuming. My question is, how do we get our children off it? It's like a drug. It's like a drug to children anymore. Yeah, I can hear my little brother and tell Rob. All right. So it's like a drug to children. All right. So I want to talk about this part right here. Social media being a drug. So here's the thing with social media or even addiction, right? Somebody earlier asked about bipolar disorder, and they say they struggle with addiction, and they were looking for tips, right? So here's the thing with social media. When you're on social media, right? Even with my content, I'm not saying that I'm separate from this. This is all of us lumped together on social media, right? When you're scrolling, sometimes there's a tendency for us to scroll for hours and hours and hours, right? Because a lot of the content that we see is addictive. The algorithms track what we like and what we don't like. So they're going to feed you things that you like, right? So over time, you could be on your phone for minutes to hours, right? And just you could be scrolling up and down all day, and it can be addictive, right? And for anything that is addictive, it releases a lot of dopamine, and when you have a lot of dopamine, dopamine is a neurotransmitter in the brain that's associated with pleasure. So with an overabundance of dopamine, it's not healthy for you, right? We're not supposed to get so much, pleasurable activities all in at once, and that goes with anything, not just social media, but it goes with food, it goes with sex, it goes with, money. That's why gambling can be addictive for people. The human brain is not meant for us to get a whole lot of addictive, a whole lot of pleasurable activity in all at once, right? So when you do that, you get hooked onto a certain thing, and the come down from that can be problematic, right? The come down from a lot of pleasurable activities all at once can lead to anxiety, depression, low self-esteem, frustration, isolation, all of the bad things that we don't want, right? So that's the issue with anything that's addictive to us. And social media has a tendency to be addictive. Like Sarah saying, it is like a drug to children, right? So we have to acknowledge that, and I'm I'm cautiously optimistic when it comes to social media because I'm on it and it's been extremely beneficial to my career and my life and my family. But I have to recognize that social media can be addictive. So it's important to set timers to, watch how much time you spend on a certain app. The timer idea is genius, because if you're going to be on TikTok and you have a couple of hours to waste before like an appointment, it's not a bad idea to put on a 30-minute timer, just to make sure that way after, a couple of minutes, you hear that timer go off and your brain tells you, oh, it's time for me to get up. I need to get up, drink some water. I need to go outside, stretch. I need to do something else outside of looking at my phone for hours and hours and hours. So I think it's a tool, and I think it's a wonderful tool that we have. But I would love to see people educate, the youth and also the adults on how to use social media responsibly. Like, they tell people to drink responsibly. So likewise, you got to use social media responsibly. And workbook. All right, so perfect. So Jacqueline came through on page 52 in the workbook. If you have it right here, right? We have a section actually dedicated to mindless scrolling, right? Stop mindless scrolling forever. And I forgot I had this in the book. So Jackie, thank you so much. Right. And we talk about, how to, if you have the book actually, we can actually write it out. We can write out what app or website we're on, how much time we've spent on it, and how it makes us feel. I think this is very important. Take the app, take the time you've spent on it, and how it makes you feel. Write these things out, right? And if you're spending a certain amount of time on the app that you don't like, right, or you think you don't like it, right, but you write it out, and then you see that you spend only 15 minutes on, Instagram, and it makes you feel uplifted because you're watching my content or somebody else's content. Then you're like, okay, Instagram is not a bad app. I feel good because when I'm on this app, I'm looking at things that are beneficial to me, right? But if you're on any website, right, and you're on there for 3 or 4 hours and you get off feeling worse about yourself, you start to hate your body, and you realize that you're isolating. That may be a sign that we may not need to be on that app, right? We may have to be careful with things like that, right? And let me see what Elizabeth said. One last comment. Following and realize I have been on social media too long. Hydrate and rest. Yeah, that's why I got the water right here for the water break, right? And I was around when MySpace was around and getting to personalize your own page. I realized I have cut back on social media with these different apps, but I do find myself scrolling a lot, even though I may not post much. Yeah, no, the scrolling can be an issue, and we don't realize that these algorithms are smart. Kendra loves yellow highlighters, right? Let's say Kendra, let's say your son is really into yellow highlighters, right? And you Google or you type in yellow highlighters on TikTok. I would not be surprised if for the next 2 hours you got the best content in the world on yellow highlighters, right? It gives you everything that you want, right? Over and over. And before you know it, the whole day has passed away and you're on TikTok looking at exciting content about yellow highlighters, right? So it's important to just know, be mindful of the fact that we're scrolling for, long periods of time. And Jackie, I appreciate that. I forgot I had that. I love this workbook so much more. I appreciate that. All right. Just got a notification and it's a sociable out here, not 2 a.m. Okay. Where are you at again, Laura? Where are you at? And let me see. Tina says social media is very useful to me. I lost my small business during COVID. Car blew a head gasket. My son was extremely bullied, and I have to homeschool for his mental health. This is my only way to connect to the outside world, which may actually be my problem. So, Tina, I don't know if this is your problem, but keep in mind that in the post-COVID society, right, we're relying so much more on the internet, right? Whether it's telemedicine, like a question I get here a lot is, how can I find a doctor? How can I find a therapist? And a lot of people are, using telemedicine. So they're using an iPad or a computer or a cell phone to connect with therapists and doctors and psychiatrists who live maybe on the other side of the country, right? So social media and telemedicine and technology is extremely helpful, in my opinion. But I don't think, even though it comes with its drawbacks, I don't think we can, or I don't think we should like eliminate it completely. But I think it's important to educate people on how to use it. But I mean, I'm right there with you, Tina. Social media was very helpful for me, especially during the pandemic when you couldn't really leave the house, right? It was just you at home with your thoughts, right, and your kids if you have kids. And JC says, I'm trying to find a balance. I just got on social media about a year ago. I have been off of it for the last 5 years just to help myself mentally. But now I found people like you, so I like social media for that reason. But I'm so scared to go too much into social media. So, JC, let me start by saying thank you so much for your attention. I really appreciate you. And I like this platform that I have where I get to meet people like you. It's not a bad thing to be scared, right? So my thing is, I say we should be cautiously optimistic about social media, right? I am optimistic about it. I am a fan of it. I like what it's done for me personally. I like what it's done for this community, right? Without social media, I don't know any of you all, right? But because of it, I have 3.5 million friends online, and we can talk about things that affect all of us. But at the same time, I'm still cautiously optimistic because we don't have long-term, evidence about what it does to our brains, right? So we have to play it, got to play it safe. But I'm still a fan of it. I'm still a fan of it. Good morning, Becky. How are you doing? Morning, morning, morning. And Tina, Zoe, Shasi, come over here. Come here, Shasi. Impulse buying is the worst. My brain craves a $3 item with free shipping. I have no control. So, hey, you gotta be kind to yourself, But a lot of times you'll see ads on social media, and before you know it, you're buying something because you've seen it online too. And Say says, I speak on ADHD and autism from the parental perspective. I joined forces with a SOP has been in the field for over a decade to help mothers. So once again, let me give you a love of the show. Zoe, oh, she's playing her ball. Love the show. This is one of the amazing things. You can do stuff like this on social media, So this is one of the good parts about it, right? And Becky says navy blue. Yes, so I will be wearing the navy blue scrubs for the TV segment in 30 minutes or so. So yeah, we're gonna go with the navy blue. We did a poll on Instagram and people went with the blue. So we're going with the blue over the gray. Right. Lydia says, or Lyd, keep up the great work. You're doing an excellent job of keeping us informed. It helps in my work and relationships with people who experience so much mentally and emotionally. Lydia, I do appreciate you. Thank you so much for your attention. And Cheryl says, I discovered you through the main faces of ADHD. Cheryl, thank you for your attention. And congratulations on that Super Bowl. I see you're a Chiefs fan, and they won, so I'll give it to y'all in Kansas City. When I first joined Facebook, you had to have a college email address to join. I used to post all the time when I was just connecting with college students. It was like FOMO. Yeah. No, oversharing. Social media lends itself to oversharing. So I don't think all of us plan to overshare, but you get a phone, you have an Instagram account, and you have Snapchat and TikTok, and before you know it, you're showing people all these little different details of your life, which is cool, right? It helps us connect with people, but we do have to understand that sometimes it is okay to keep things to ourselves. As soon as I found you, I asked my teen son to follow you on Instagram. He's not big on typical sites. He's an avid gamer. So, Stace, let me talk about this real quick. I really, really appreciate it. I love comments like this because I know how apprehensive parents are when it comes to social media and the phone and the internet. So when you as a parent, when you tell your teenage son to follow me on Instagram, that's a huge honor. I really, really appreciate that because I know how. I'm on social media as well, so I see what type of content you could be potentially exposed to. So I really, really appreciate that. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Go Chiefs. Go Chiefs. I'm a Titans fan, but go Chiefs. You all did win, so I have nothing to say about it. And let me see. I understand how you feel. I'm a stay-home mom. I don't get out much during the week. Due to my son doing online school. Needs reliable Wi-Fi. I do make an intentional effort to make trips to our public library in town. They do monthly activities for the kids. I try and get them to. Also during the summer, we try to go as much as possible as they do drawings, free raffle for prizes for the kids as a reward for reading. Yeah, and I don't think social media can replace or should replace us leaving the house, right? There's a beautiful thing about going outside and physically connecting with people. But at the same time, there's only so much that we can do, right? If I'm in California, somebody's in Tennessee, somebody else is in Florida, another person is in Germany, right? You have the internet, we can all be connected instantly. And that's a beautiful thing, right? But of course, it does come with some drawbacks, as we've spoken about. Let me see. Francie said, sometimes when my fibromyalgia is real bad, I use social media to help keep me occupied. Hey, Shiesty. My dog look at me like that. Yeah, but this is real. A lot of times when you need company, right? Sometimes you want company in the form of, a movie or a podcast, or something that's not a physical person, right? You can cut on a YouTube video and you can watch, right? It can keep you occupied, and it's like a low investment type of thing, right? And Shasti, she's looking at me when I said that. Yeah, 5 minutes of water break. We're almost there. Social media, been on it since 90, and I like that. I went the route of teaching my son balance. It took a lot of conversations over a period of time. He's now 16 and regulates himself. He has autism and ADHD, so he can be very hyper focused. So Stace, you bring another angle to this conversation that I'm surprised I haven't even talked about, right? But you bring another angle to this conversation. When you have autism and ADHD, right? We know what that neurodivergent combination is like, right? And having autism and ADHD doesn't mean that you can't accomplish your goals. You can do whatever you want. The neurodivergence doesn't have to stop you, right? But we know that when you have ADHD and autism, you can lock into certain things and you can be extremely hyper focused, right? So if you're on social media and you have autism and or ADHD and you're looking at content and you find something that really interests you, right? You could be online for hours looking into that one specific thing, right? You found something else, you found something that, because keep in mind, right, when we're chasing dopamine and we're looking for things that excite us and give us pleasure, it's all about novelty. It's about something that's exciting, something that's new, something that you haven't really seen before, right? So if let's say you just got into like dirt bikes, right? You type in dirt bike on TikTok or Facebook, right? And you have all these amazing videos about dirt bikes and different kinds of bikes. You can easily be on the internet for hours, not minutes, hours, multiple hours, just scrolling through that content, having a good time, having a great time, not keeping up with the time, right? Before you know it, you may have missed an appointment or you're behind on homework because you've been on social media looking at dirt bikes, right? So, for the neurodiversity community, which I'm a part of, we have to be mindful of these things as we're on the internet. Not, avoid it completely, but we have to just be mindful and just keep in mind that, all right, I'm because of how God has made me, or because of how I'm created, whoever you believe in, there's a chance that whatever I watch online, I can get hooked on it. So I have to be very careful with that. That's why timers are helpful. That's why having accountability partners are helpful, right? Somebody to, have like body doubling with us in the room, to look over at us and say, hey, Kojo, you've been online for like 2 hours. Like, let's go outside and take a break. Let's get some fresh air. We don't really have to be on the internet all day, right? Let's break it up. Let's take a break. And Becky, when I said neurodivergence, I'm talking about, people with ADHD, autism, primarily those two, but people have taken the word neurodivergent and they're able to extend it to a lot of different things, right? Dyslexia or, neuro, right? Brain divergence, divert, kind of like to go a different way. So you can really take the neurodivergent umbrella term and extend it to different, mental health conditions, so but some people have been looking online and some people want to keep neurodivergence to just a few specific mental health conditions, which sometimes the more you go on, you can make a argument that we're just getting into semantics, right? And I get trapped in social media rabbit holes sometimes, and my husband has to tell me I'm stuck and need to put the phone down. But those IG videos are so good. No, Jody, the videos are really good, right? And if you're really interested in a certain thing, you'll keep getting content about that. So it's going to be really hard to get off the phone. But shout out to your husband. You have somebody there to keep you accountable and to say, hey, babe, I think we need to, put our phone down for just a second. Let's go outside and take a walk, and you can come back. But like, we have to like physically stand up, get outside the house, look outside, right? Go into nature, and come back. Like, catch our breath for just a second, right? And balance is key. Oh, it's time for the water break. So somebody can drop in the magic word in the chat, and then we will get the water break in. Balance is key. I see a lot of parents taking it away, but had I done that, my son still wouldn't be reading and would still hate history. Oh, so Stace, I really like this because I do think balance is key, and I think that to teach your kids about social media could be more beneficial than to take it away, right? Now it depends on what's happening, right? But to teach your kids about how to use it as an effective tool could be helpful, because I don't think social media is going away anytime soon. And even if all these apps go away, another app will come out sometime soon, and it will take our attention, right? All right, y'all. Cheers. Right. So big cheers here. Cheers to the water break. It gives us a chance to get some water in, because a lot of times, not just people in the neurodivergent community, but anybody, we may forget to drink water, right? So the water break is, I'm not even sure how I started it, but I'm a big fan of it because it gives me a chance to drink some water. And I'll be mindful of this as I go on throughout the day. But right now, it's time for the water break, y'all. Big cheers, everybody. That felt good. That was needed. Becky, that was needed. That was needed right there. Tina, I really try not to chug water because I know kids watch. I'm not trying to make it cool to chug water, but I really am thirsty. Like I'm legitimately thirsty, So the water break, it always comes at a good time. Sam says, "Yeah, I'll share things on the lives where it's more conventional and productive, but just spamming posts on my personal life just isn't my scene. No hate to those who do though." Sam, I completely agree. And with social media, keep in mind we can share whatever we want to share, and we don't have to share the things that we want to keep private. I think we sometimes forget that. Becky, when bedbound for days, it can really help. I agree. If you're not able to get out of bed, for whatever reason, right? It can be helpful to have your phone there so you can stay connected to the outside world. Neurodivergence usually refers to people with autism, ADHD, versus neurotypical people without those conditions. From what I've seen, I would say that's accurate. And I was locked into Facebook at midnight and needed to be up at 5:30 a.m. My husband looked at me and said, "Holly." My husband looked at me and said, "Holly, do you think this is a good idea?" He gets me. This gets I love the show to you and your husband right here. This is hilarious. Yeah, like the internet. Look, I love Facebook. I love Meta. I love this community. And I've also been up at midnight, past midnight, just looking through stuff, not realizing what the time is. Knowing that I have to be up at 5 a.m., 6 a.m., 7 a.m. to hit the gym. So sometimes this happens, Holly, and having somebody right next to us, having your partner or your spouse just say, "Hey, do you really think that we should be online right now?" A gentle reminder, it goes a long way. It goes a long way. And I guess I have a timer and I turn it off. It's so bad for me right now, and because I need to market my business, I feel like I'm online all day. So Gail, I completely understand you with this, and my business also has to do with social media. So like, I spend a lot of time on the internet, and I've had to draw back as well. So I will use the internet, for multiple hours a day because by nature of what I do, I use it. But now I do my best to be very intentional when I'm online, right? And if I'm going to give myself time to just scroll, I will put a timer on because I will lose track of time. and I'll be on there for hours laughing and giggling, all day. So timers, such a simple but an effective way to go by doing things. All right. And let me see. Becky, I appreciate you. Thank you so much. I've been watching YouTube too much, looking at Disney videos since we're going in a few. So I do this as well, and I don't think this is a bad thing necessarily, right? Like you're about to go to Disney World for the first time, or Disneyland, or whichever one, Florida, California. So a lot of times you want to go online and type in that place and see reviews of it, what to check out, and so all that stuff is cool. Of course, it can consume you to where it takes away time from what you're doing, but I think that's fine, right? I'm not practicing what I coach. I'm so Gail. Look, even if we're a coach of something, we have to be practitioners of that same thing. But sometimes I come out here and I tell people to get sleep and to put nutritious things into their body, and I may not get enough sleep, or I might eat cinnamon rolls all day. It's been a while since I've done that. But sometimes we don't practice what we preach, and it's all good. Just shift and get back on track. And good morning. This is Cecilia Gilchrist. I gotta get to Ghana sometime. It's been how long? 20 something years since I've been. 1998. What's that? 25 years. Mickey Ficky. Yeah, so it's about time for me to get back to my country, Ciela. I'm up fairly late, but I've made an intentional effort to go to bed by midnight. It helps with my Apple Watch or my phone reminds me of my bedtime. Yeah, and shout out to was it Holly? Was it Holly? Yeah. Shout out to Holly's husband. Shout out to Holly's husband. Just a gentle reminder to just look over to your wife and say, hey, maybe it's time to go to sleep, right? That's a good way to help somebody out without making them feel bad, because anybody can get sucked into the vortex of just being on the internet for so long. And with the business we are building, my friend committed us to 365 reels. I've never been on social media in this way ever in my life. I have a lot to say about parenting a neurodivergent child. Yeah, and look, reels are great. Reels are how I built my community here. But I will say, like, and even the people at Facebook will tell you, if you need to take a break, take a break. Like obviously the company likes it when you make reels, when I make reels. Like it's a wonderful thing. But take breaks as needed, right? Because in order to be, to sustain something and have longevity, you have to have energy to do it for a certain period of time. So breaks are important. And I have a friend who we message each other. We're disabled, and when we're flaring up, we're immobile, so we call it cripple time. Sorry to those who may find offensive. It's our little joke. Okay, hey, if it's between y'all, I'm all good with that. If we're not in flare up, it means we're telling each other it's time to get up. So, okay. I like that. And see, this is community building. You have a friend, you all go back and forth, right? And you use social media for certain things. I think when you use social media, it's so much better than when it uses you, right? Let's make sure that we use social media, not it uses us, right? So you have to be intentional about the time that we spend on the internet. Ghana has changed a lot. I mean, in 25 years, I can imagine. So it's about time that I get back to Ghana, But I've been on social media and I've been looking at photos and videos of Ghana. So I've been living vicariously through everybody who's been going back, right? Ninja, I appreciate you. Thank you so much. It's so hard to do reels. Yeah, it can be. It can be, and it's really good to take breaks. It's really good to take breaks. My youngest doesn't go to sleep until after that time, but I love to be able to go to bed that early without waking throughout the night. Yeah. When you wake up throughout the night or you wake up at like 2 a.m. for no reason, you just get so angry. Self-care and self-love and self-discipline. I like that. Say says, I'm crippled now. I feel that. Threw my back out yesterday. Well, hopefully your back starts to feel a little bit better. Ghana has changed. It's very fun. So much to do. Take your mind off social media. Yeah. When I have a social media break, or a vacation, which I'm not a big fan of, just because I like working, but vacations are necessary. But when I have a vacation, I'll keep Ghana top of mind. I gotta go back. I'm from Ghana, so I gotta go back. All right, let me see. All right. And speaking of Ghana, let me say this. It is our Independence Day. So happy Independence Day to Ghana. 1959 was when we had independence. So if somebody was born in 1959 and today's their birthday, how old would they be? Can somebody do math? Can somebody do the math real quick? 2023 minus 1959. What's that? 64? 64? See, I'm not gonna ask Siri or anybody. I'm gonna guess. 2023 minus and Tina, I'll check out your Instagram. Drop your IG, Tina. I see your comment. 2023 minus 1959, 64. Okay, all right, cool. I wanted to try and flex my my mathematical muscles without using calculator. All right, so my country is 64 years old today. So yeah, I will get back to Ghana at some point. I'll get back to Ghana at some point, and but until then, happy Independence Day to all of my Ghanaians everywhere. I hope you have a fantastic day today. I do have to hop off now and prepare for the TV segment. And for those of you all who want to watch that, it's going to be on abc7.com in about 15 minutes, right? So if you're on abc7.com in about 15 minutes, you can watch my TV segment. We will be talking about this same exact topic. And I'll be using what I learned here from you all and obviously what I have to say. And we'll talk about it on TV. Yeah, ABC7. If you're here in Southern California, you can watch it on your TV. Just turn on the TV to ABC7, the same channel where they show the Lakers games on Sundays, and you'll be able to catch me on TV talking about the same topic. So I gotta dip out. I gotta change into my scrubs, and I have to report, to the online thingy. So I'll see you all shortly. This is a great live stream. We really got a lot of good talking points in, and I hope you all have a fantastic day. And we're gonna have a great week, right? So let's claim it. We're gonna have a fantastic week, and we're gonna have a lot of victories this week. So let's have an amazing Monday, and let's kick it off by watching Mental Health Mondays on ABC7. So until 15 minutes from now, take care. See y'all soon.